Welcome to part 4 of the metagame discussion. Showing off blue on blue seems to be a really big trend with this channel. There's a lot of blue everywhere. So, if you guys want part 5, please show me some love. I need it at this point. We've beaten this poor segment down so much that I've forgotten about everything that I wanted to talk about. Not really. But likes will help me remember. God, I'm so corny. Sorry about that. Let's dig on into this discussion, shall we? Alright, so I said I was going to talk about paleo frogs and them actually having a chance in the current format, so we need to do just that. Paleo frog is kind of doing the same thing that a lot of the more roguish decks are trying to do at this point. And, well, I mean, you go first. You go first, you make some totally awesomes, you set some trap cards. Lost Wind is a really good card. Who knew that negating effects would just kind of get you places? Huh. I wonder about that. Could it be that Lost Wind is functionally a good card in today's format? I guess so. But depending on the paleo variant and things like that, I think the deck is good enough to constantly top regionals. Oh, absolutely. Now, YCS level, that's to be seen for another discussion. Especially with the 3v3 YCS coming up and things like that. Possibly we could see a little bit of success from it, but for the most part, at this current point in time, paleo sitting back row producing totally awesomes, producing disruption on the opponent's turn. Well, you know, it does what it really wants to do, and that disruption is very, very good. So, I don't know, I really like paleo at the moment. I actually wasn't a super huge fan of the deck for a little while, but I do think now that things have, I guess, kind of evolved to the point that they're a little bit better in going first aspects. The deck really does mess with Salamangreat when it goes first. Oh, it's so good. But once again, Salamangreat kind of plays with them back. So you kind of got your interesting matchups to kind of go back and forth. But if a paleo player wins that dice roll all day long, then you can bet they're going to have a chance at doing well. So that's my take on paleo. Now, next up on this list is actually ABC. Now, I'm really indifferent about this because coming out of Chicago, we saw that Calvin Tahan did really well with the deck, but this was because the deck was geared toward going second. Now, I've seen a lot of regional lists right now for ABC, and the deck has had a lot of success. So I'm not going to make the argument that the solid matchup is an issue for it. But breaking boards with evenly matched, and I mean, being able to kind of make a Dragon Buster when all is said and done, is pretty good. You know, take it for what it's worth, honestly. You know, in certain matchups, the going second aspect might not be particularly that good, but still, you know, you have to play the deck going second. I don't think a going first build of ABC at this point in time can cut it. I know people, I think I've seen one list that was going first that was actually trying. And I don't want to take anything away from it, but like the going second build seems to be the way that you want to approach this format. Obviously in your salad matchup. I mean, the deck still has a relatively decent Sky Striker matchup. You have a terrible Cyber Dragon matchup. Oh wait, you'll just beam apart your dragon as they summon the guys, so that's fine. Danger Thunder, I mean, you put a couple of big beaters on the field. That's relatively fine, depending on the disruption and things that your opponent is trying to put on you. Might not be so good, but outside of that, once again, it's very depending on the situation that you find yourself in. Have you been as-a-thoughted? It's the little things like that that I guess can make or break the ABC matchup. The deck just doesn't seem as strong as it once was. And, I mean, come on, guys. It kind of isn't anymore. I was thinking about it, I'm like, is it really? No, it really isn't. Now, next up on this list, this is my little fun one for the video, and it's Noble Knights. We started off last format where we saw a little bit of love for Noble Knights. And as that love kind of started to gain, and we saw Johnny top a regional with it. And as the format kind of started to go, the deck kind of started to fade away. But the deck is still, it's still got a beating heart. I think the deck can still do really well on a local level. Being able to have the equip cards re-equip themselves and generalized protection like that, it's really good. You know, call it what it is. But in a format where people are still trying kaijus, there's still some really acute ideas kind of running around in the back of my mind at the moment. You know, I have to ask myself, is it really worth it to want to play it? And I do think, much like Invoked Mech Knight and even like Frightfur, you know, your roguish picks, while they're still able to do things, I don't know, it's not as great as it once was. I do think that there are things that Noble Knights can do that other decks can't do, but we're not in such a heavy back row format right now. Had we gone towards more of a heavy back row format, oh my god, I would probably welcome Noble Knights into the format as a disruption engine and just being able to break boards with Alpha Duder and things like that. That's one of the coolest things that the deck has going for it, is in a back row heavy format, when you can establish your guy, holy crap, you just go into such a good position that it's nuts. So, Noble Knights, unfortunately, guys, I want to show you more love, but I can't, and it's just so unfortunate. Now, we got to get back to the meta here. We got Necrons to talk about. Necrons did really well at the Indie Regional. We saw that Chester did really well with the deck. We saw that playing Zoborg the Mega Monarch, Extravaganza, all of these crazy ideas were great. We saw the deck bubble Chicago, and we once again saw the deck bubble at YCS Dusseldorf. A lot of people at this point in time are probably like, what happened to the deck? Like, why is it not doing so good? Well, a couple things for that. We're in such a big format right now where the going first turn is so powerful. Necros, Trishula is your go-to guy. And I don't want to take anything away from Trish because I think the card's good, but Trish does jack shit going first. You need to be able, I mean, if your opponent Phantasmes you, I guess you can Trish your opponent if they dump a hand trap in the graveyard. It's going to be like the only way you're going to be able to Trish. Zoborg the Mega Monarch does win that matchup if you resolve it, but we've got the consistent question of the day here at how consistently do you see that Zoborg? How consistent is it that you can draw this thing and resolve it? It's kind of a shame because we've reached that point that it doesn't happen right now. Like, consistency is not something that a Necros player has going for it. I mean, they do. Don't get me wrong, the new pot, Zoborg, definitely, and the under restrictions really push that deck in another direction. But, God, does it still have issues. As much as I want to see the deck do better with, it's even lucky that it has a chance in the format right now, just because of how crazy intense the current ceiling is. So, I will say that. Good job, Necros. You're doing well, but you still have issues. Now, the last deck I want to talk about here is Shuttles. Do you guys remember, literally when this list started, everybody was happy that they got the chance to play Construct again. It's all I heard from the player base was, we want Construct back. Oh my god, give it back to me. I need this. And then they got it. And you know what happened? We had a solid week of people testing the deck. People were like, oh my god, this deck it's not trash, but it's not good. But in the long run, is it really able to function in the current meta? And the answer is no, it's not. Like, we've gotten to the point now in the format that it's unable to do anything. And it's a shame because I know a lot of people wanted to splash it with the dinosaur engine. Actually, that was, I think, the thing I saw a lot of people trying to do was, okay, we're going to incorporate the dinosaur engine into the deck. We're going to try to have success with this. But we've power crept this format so insanely hard that there's nothing that you can do as a Shuttle player. Like, your deck is too fair. And it's kind of sad to say that because Construct is a very good card. But when your deck does, it was unfair for its time. But when you start to do fair things, unfortunately, there's not much that you can do at this point. So I hate to say it, but yeah, Shuttles, you're dead. And maybe you'll make a comeback tour at some point. Maybe more Shuttles stuff in general will help with the deck. But it started to fail. So guys, what do you think about this metagame discussion? Do you guys want part 5? I've still got Zombies, Cosmos Stun, Heroes, Dinosaurs, Blue Eyes, and more to talk about. So please show me some likes on this video to motivate me to want to film part 5. And, well guys, I'm out. Take care of yourselves. Peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out VanCole40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.